Once is enough for a woman, as long as it's true love. And it was that. Minnie, look, there's two men staring at the shop.
Men?
Why did you believe they needed to come in here?
Men in the shop? Mrs. Malloy, what you gonna do?
Do? Why, flirt with them, of course. I'll give you the short one.
Mrs. Malloy, and you with all that talk about love.
Love enough I've had, Minnie. It's a bit of an adventure I can do with now. We'll get them all heated up and then drop them home. It'll be good practice for married life. Now you have to work with Minnie. I know some ways we can perk up our appearances. Besides, a bit of a wait will make me nervous. And easier for us to...
If you say vampire, I'll scream.
Vampire! And so, I'll try to make it easier to find me in the stillness of July, because a breeze might stir a ripple behind me that might happen to catch the gentleman's eye. Oh, Minnie, we'll get an adventure out of this yet.
We'll get an adventure out of this yet, Barnaby. All day long we wander around New York and nothing happens. But then we come to the quietest street in the city and suddenly a $100. Is he still out there? Go look.
He's sitting on that bench. Cornelius, are you sure this is an adventure?
You don't have to ask, Barnaby. When you're in one, you'll know it all right. How much money do you got left?
Not much, Cornelius. 40 cents for the train back, 30 cents for supper, and 20 cents to see the whale. 90 cents. What?
When those women come out, we'll have to pretend to be customers. Customers, that's it. Maybe the best thing to do is to make them think we're rich. Well, that way we won't have to spend anything. We're two men about town looking for hats for ladies. Good afternoon, Mrs.
Malloy.
Here, Cornelius Hackle.
Here, Barnaby Tucker.
My pleasure, gentlemen. Now, what can I do for you?
Oh, well, you see, there's those ladies about town looking for hats. And Malloy, we want a hat. For a lady, of course. And everybody said go to Mrs. Malloy's because she's so pretty. I mean, because her hats are so pretty.
And so reasonable, too. As reasonable as under $1. Would leave us enough to see the whale.
Oh, you've got to pay him no mind, ma'am. He's come all the way from Yonkers to see the stuffed whale, and he's all excited. Just keep an eye out on that street, Barnaby, and maybe you'll see it pass by.
Is it big and black with mean little red eyes?
Yes.
It's sitting right on that bench.
Excuse me, but did you say Yonkers, Mr. Hackle?
Oh, yes, ma'am, Yonkers. And forgive me for saying this, but you should see Yonkers. And by that I mean, perhaps Mr. Malloy would like to see Yonkers as well.
Oh, I'm a widow, Mr. Hackle.
You are? Barnaby, she's a widow! Well, that's too bad. I'm sure Mr. Malloy would have enjoyed Yonkers. Well, especially in that hat. I mean on you, of course, not on Mr. Malloy. You're Catholic, aren't you? Don't let worry you. I knew him to change. Mrs. Malloy, if you should happen to have a Sunday afternoon free in the near future, I'd be more than glad to show you Yonkers from top to bottom.
Well, as a matter of fact, Mr. Hackle, I might be there sooner than you think.
Oh, really?
You see, I have a friend who lives in Yonkers.
Do you?
Perhaps you know.
Perhaps you do.
Oh, it's always so foolish to ask in cases like that, isn't it? It's a Mr. Vandergilder.
Horace Vanderbilt?
A Vandergelder's hand thief?
Oh, do you know him?
No.
Mr. Vanderbilt is a substantial man. And well likely, tell me.
A lovely man. Just lovely, Mrs. Malloy. Only has one fault as far as I can tell. He's hard as nails.
Cornelius, I think...
No, I wonder if your friend might like this one.
Look out!
Beg your pardon, Mrs. Malloy.
Gentlemen, what are you doing?
Help us, Mrs. Malloy. We'll explain later.
Come out of there this minute!
We're as innocent as can be, Mrs. Malloy.
Well, really, Mr. Hackett, Mr. Tucker, I need the both of you come out of there this minute, or we force to Mr. Vanderbilt.
Mrs. Malloy, I don't suppose Mrs. Levi is here, is she? She was supposed to meet me out on that bench 10 minutes ago. Well, she can just go looking for me if she comes. When I make an appointment, I like people to be on time. Here's a present for you. Chocolate-covered peanuts. Unshelled. That's the expensive kind. Did I just see you talking with two men?
Men. Mr. Vanderbilt. Now, what would two men be doing in a ladies' hat shop? Well now, let's go back into my workroom. I'm so anxious for you to see it.
I saw it last week.
So you did. Well, Mr. Vanderbilt, what's new in the hand thief business? I understand you have 3 friends, all hard as nails. I mean,
What on earth are you talking about?
Yonkers. I hear it's a very beautiful city.
And who's been telling you about Yonkers, may I ask?
Nobody. A friend.
What friend?
Well, you see, he... A customer, Mr. Vanderbilt. Someone quite well-to-do, as a matter of fact. You might even know him, although it's usually silly to ask if he's like that. It's Mr. Cornelius Hackle.
Did you say Hackle?
Why, yes.
He's my head clerk, and that's all. Mrs. Malloy, I demand an explanation.
And I'm going to give it to you. Why shouldn't she know Cornelius Hackle? Everybody in New York knows Cornelius Hackle. He's here at the operas, in all the fashionable homes. Why, he's at the Harmonia Gardens restaurant 3 times a week.
That's impossible. He's only got $146.35, and I keep it in my own safe.
Oh, Mr. Vanderbilt, you're killing me. He's one of the Hackles. They built the canal.
What canal?
The Erie. The Panama. Both.
It ain't the same man.
Who took the horses out of Jenny Lynn's carriage and pulled her through the streets? Cornelius Hackle. And who dressed up as a waiter at the 5th Avenue Hotel and dropped an oyster right down Mrs. Astor's? Oh, well, I can't say it, but it was Cornelius. He's the playboy of New York. Now, Irene, don't deny it. I can see you were taken with him just like everybody else.
Dolly, what are you saying? I've only seen him once in my life. Really, Dolly.
Excuse me.
Now look here, if there's a man in that closet.
Oh, no, Mr. Vanderbilt, you can't. It's too dangerous.
No man that hides in the ladies' closets can fight me, Mrs. Levi. Stand aside.
Stand indeed. I'm sure you'd make short work of any man, those muscles. I can see them now, rippling under your coat. Ripple, 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 back and forth, ripple, ripple, ripple.
For the last time, Mrs. Levi, will you stand aside?
Stand indeed, Mr. Vanderbilt. That's exactly what the court will want to know when you're accused of getting in that closet without a search warrant. I mean, what do you stand for if you don't stand for the law of this great land? I know what I stand for. I stand